Nutrition is next. This is a big one too. Well, they're all big ones, right? What we fuel our bodies with makes a massive difference in how we feel energy wise, right? So, what do we want to look for in foods that can give you the best energy? I already talked about the quick energy, so I'm going to reiterate some of that stuff, but just overall in general, eating well is going to benefit your health. So, most of this is not really going to be new to you, but first is unprocessed foods. So this is simply looking for foods as close to their natural form as possible, right? These foods are going to be utilized most efficiently by the body. And again, your body knows what to do with natural food. So it's going to break it down well. It's going to give you that longer lasting energy. Again, when we're combining the multiple nutrients, if you will, with like the carbs and the protein, that type of thing, and fat as well. So things like fruits and veggies. Fruits and veggies have so many natural nutrients and vitamins as well that just help your body function at its top level, especially when it comes to energy. Again, we've got the natural sugar and carbohydrates that are body's first choice of energy, and then we've got so that fiber. I think someone mentioned with the oranges too. There's lots and lots of natural things that are going to help us. So what we want to do, we want to get five servings at least of fruits and veggies a day. And if you don't have access to fresh, frozen is still a great choice. Canned as well. Just look at that ingredient label to be sure that they haven't added any sugar or other ingredients. And then other minimally processed proteins are a good option to look for too. So eggs, fish, dairy, nuts, quinoa, lentils, beans. What protein does is it helps fight that fatigue and tiredness by keeping your muscle mass up. It helps keep you fuller longer because protein breaks down slower, like I mentioned already. It can help prevent sugar crashes because of that longer sustained breakdown process, right? So even if you've got some sugar, if you get a little bit of a high with that, you won't crash as much if you've got that protein still working in your body to give you that level energy. Now, general dietary guidelines suggest around 56 grams of protein for men, 46 for women, but that's going to vary pretty widely depending on your situation. So, do some research. Um, Protein powder is an option as well. Just again, look at that quality because it's going to be more of a processed option, right? You can't really get away from the processed protein powder, but there's better and not so good. So do your research on those ones. And then whole grains are a good option as well. Keep that body functioning properly. 100% whole wheat breads, oats, those types of things. I mentioned this already in the quick tips, but again, complex carbohydrates that are in those whole grains, they break down slower than refined grains. So your white breads, your white pastas, your baked goods, those are stripped of a lot of the nutrients and the fiber that give us that sustained energy. And we're not going up and down with the sugar crash, right? Um, I said it already, but carbohydrates are very important for our body, and they are the primary source of energy. It's what we look for, what our body looks for first. It's that quality, again, that we tend to do not so great at that backfires on the energy front specifically. So, again, look at labels, look for 100% whole wheat when you're looking at your breads, your pastas, brown and wild rice. We've got whole grain oats, barley, quinoa, which is on both the protein and the carb source, which is fantastic. Again, these are not the only options, right? Lots of options out there. And then liquids, right? I've already talked about water and that it has its hand in a bunch of body functions and plays a large part in quick energy, but it is by far the best thing you can drink for long-term energy as well. Because again, you're sustaining your body and sustaining all of those processes when we're drinking enough water. So focus on that first. All right, let's touch on caffeine here for a second. Now, we know caffeine works to give you energy, right? Research shows that some caffeine is generally okay, but what we get to is we can easily go overboard with the amount of caffeine and it can have negative long-term effects on your body. So, moderation is the mantra here. Don't shoot the messenger, but the American Heart Association recommends keeping your caffeine intake below 100 milligrams, which is equal to about 2 8-ounce cups of coffee. Now, again, It's not a terrible thing, but the other thing to be mindful of is that the other things that we're adding to our coffee a lot of times, right? I'm not going to say don't have caffeine, but if you need it, best option to not hinder your long-term energy is black coffee and unsweetened tea. That's ideal, right? And then try not to have caffeine right away in the morning. If you can wait 2 or 3 hours after you wake up to have that first caffeine, this gives your body the ability to use its natural energy from sleeping. You're not just like giving it a big dose of caffeine and then your body's like, oh, I don't need that energy, right? So it messes up your own body's energy levels. And then if you can limit in the afternoon, which most of you have heard, right? So it doesn't affect your sleep. You're getting on that good path to utilize it the best way for your body to get it into that good natural state, right? So if we're doing all of these other things that we've talked about, ideally you won't need that caffeine supplement as much to keep that energy up. Now, I'm not saying this is easy by any means. I'm just saying that's what's been shown to be the best way to use caffeine, right? Your call from here.